Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. If my audio sounds a little bit weird, let me know. Fucking Windows, of course, had an update to do over the weekend, and awesome. Glad to hear it. But every time Windows does an update, it messes up my audio, so I have to go through and fix it all over again. Anyway, we're back with the engineering of the space. Looks like over the weekend we also had an update to a couple of mods, one of which being camp. I came back this morning because I've been playing Dune all weekend. It's been awesome. I am loving the game. I'm starting to get into some end game stuff with Kintar, and we're of course getting into trouble, so it's been a lot of fun. But that being said, how are we full? Absolutely. How the... Okay. How is... I don't know if you can ride the side... well, okay, technically you can. I have seen a couple of... How? What the... Oh, I see what's kind of going on. Anyway, technically, yes, you can ride the sandworms. I'm not sure if you can actively ride the sandworms, but I know you can technically ride them. I know I've seen a few videos of people doing that, but I don't believe. Switch mode, interesting. There currently is no like direct way with sand hooks or with worm hooks to actually be able to, you know, ride on them the way that a Fremen would. I don't know if that's coming later on, and right now it's just the basic stuff. What I do know, however, is that I just can't stop playing it. There's always something more that I need to get, some more farming. Like, it's one of those games that does farming incredibly well, because oftentimes what'll happen is you'll go out, you'll get a whole bunch of stuff, you'll come back, you'll use that stuff for a little while, and then before you know it, you're out of it and you have to go farming again. But the amount of time between collection and empty is long enough that it doesn't feel like you're grinding. It's just feels like, oh, well, I'm out of stuff now, I have to go collect some more. It's not an endless loop. Well, it is technically, but it's also a survival game, and all survival games are always an endless loop of looting, or endless loop of looting. A looping. That doesn't quite work as well. But that aside, it is still a lot of fun because the actual act of farming or of collection is not difficult. It's not painful. And in general, it's actually a pretty good time. Let's see. But that aside, we actually have some work to do today, as I need specifically to get some work done on the base. A couple of things though. First of all, puncture hydrogen tank. I need to set you to stockpile. Puncture. And hydrogen tank. Stockpile on off. There we go. The reason for that is we are currently out of ice. And I need a whole bunch. Let's go hit up the hole. I think what also really helps, I'm going to probably be going back to this a lot, what really helps Dune in terms of farming for mats or going out and collecting them is that some of the materials are in dangerous locations. Not impossible, just dangerous. And so because of the fact that there is a certain level of tension involved with the collection of those items, that it forces you into a situation where you get a little more excitement out of the activity of collection. Oh, that's right. I forgot. That one doesn't work like that. Let's see. I should be able to go ahead and start filling up here. And I think that really is beneficial to a game like that. Like, there are materials out in what's known as the deep desert, which is primarily the PvP area. It's free PvP. You can attack anybody anywhere up to a certain point. Now, there's like a shield wall or a portion of what's called the shield wall. And then from there forward is all PvP, but that shield wall section is safe. There are certain areas there where you can go looting and whatnot, killing NPCs, but that's generally where it's okay to like build a little base so that you can have some equipment out in the deep desert until the end of each week, at which point a storm will come through, wipe everything out, resets everything, and it all starts over again, which that's cool. Okay, let's get this going. I need to go pick up some more ice, and specifically I want, one of the things that I want to do in what is going to be on the agenda for today, as we switch back to space engineers, I'm going to be back and forth on that stuff all day long. So sorry if you get tired of hearing me talk about the game, but I'm going to keep talking about the game off and on. But today, one of the things that I want to do is to go ahead and see about adding some proper hydrogen tanks. As right now, we don't really have anything on the base for storing hydrogen aside from the ships, and so oftentimes we will run out of hydrogen or other stuff and have to deal with that. You know, I will have to come over here and hand feed this. Now, granted, in all fairness, it's nice that the ship doesn't require a whole lot. Of hydrogen in order to fly. Whoa. We do not like that. Now, we are also full. And that's why we have so many extra thrusters in the back. Just in case. All right, I can shut that off. Looks like I'm also going to need to change some options for camp, because it looks like we did get attacked at some point. Of course, the base took care of itself, I'm assuming. So we can go ahead and get that stuff cleaned up out there, as currently it is not. What the hell? Oh. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure, because again, I've been not on the server all weekend, so I don't know what's been happening. right. Let's go ahead and just get that going. Awesome. Extra turrets, never a bad idea. If you're wondering who I'm talking to Tommy. He's on the server right now. But it looks like that's extra good. How do I have... It's like I have a whole lot of stuff that's not actually going... Why? Okay. I think I know what I need to do. Okay. Turn block off. Turn block on. Okay, how about a recompile? Okay, there we go. We'll just go ahead. Okay. Oh, yeah. Nope, nope. I see it now. I did, okay. Well, I don't have it set to disassemble because I haven't really needed to. Now, I bet the camps are off. Well, no, because I saw them trying to pick up stuff. Off, on. Visible, show available parts. Okay, that's correct. Play, well, okay. That should all be correct. Wow. Oh, yep, there it goes. What was that? There we go. Haha. That's better. Now it doesn't look so terrible. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where I got all these damn parts from, though. 12,000 metal grids. Why do I have 12,000 metal grids? Metal grids are set to... Yeah. Metal grids are set to 1,500, which the numbers are a little funky, but I can fix that. Metal grids are supposed to be like 1,200. Actually, not even. They're like 800. That's true. Heavy armor isn't, but I don't know where all of the metal grids came from. 250. Reactor components. I don't actually need that many. My numbers are all fucky. Okay, that's correct. Man, I'm gone for a little bit and this is what happens. Oh, cannon clip, bulletproof glass. Yeah, that's fine. Construction components. That should be... I had that up at like 3,000, I think. Detector, don't need that many, so we'll go with just 100 tops. Hey, what's up, Dots? How you doing? Displays, 570 is fine. Girders, that's good. Gravity generator, we'll set to like, I don't know, 10. Interior plate, what are you at? No. We'll do 4,000 for that. Large tube, you get the 500 treatment. Medical, 20. We'll say 20 actually is a good number. Well, ask your question, we'll see where it goes. Missile motor. Power cell, okay. There we go. That should be a little bit better. The numbers are looking nicer. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Next up. Let's see about helping that grid, actually helping both grids. I may set one to only help all of the stuff because you have the option now to help local connected and everything. So local only will only be the grid that it's attached to, that camp is attached to as a block. Local plus connected is the same thing, but anything that's also connected to that grid via connectors. And then all is just everything, and it will go ahead and grind down stuff, enemies as well. Best way is a big giant set of drills. There's warheads. There's a couple of different ways that you can do that. It depends on what your starting resources are and what you're looking to do. You have a couple of options. The first is you can do just an entire line of drills on going both ways that you just spin around. The other way to do it is to actually do a set of pistons that will slowly drill outwards as they go. It just kind of depends on what you're looking to do. But really, it just comes down to figuring out the math for that. I believe the current blocks, the large grid blocks, are 1.5 meters. No, 2.5 meters. 2 meters? How fucking big are they? I always forget. Space engineers. Large grid block size. Yeah, 2.5 meters. Ooh, I haven't had one of these boys in a while. Long dogger. Uh-huh. So, report, spam, bot. Viewer, advertising, bot. Close, ban. There he goes. They are a lot of fun. I do enjoy banning them. All right, let's make sure. Okay, good. It is wrecking their day. God, there is a lot of debris out here. Good Lord. All right, let's see. You need to be bright red. Yeah, very definitely. The best hammer of all. The banhammer, yes. Jesus. There's just all sorts of scrap out here. Hey, turnip. The only problem that I have with using warheads for drilling is that oftentimes you don't necessarily get the precision that you're looking for. They'll get the job done, but you may want a hole of a specific size, dimension, and shape. I mean, what more information do you need there, Dots? The entire purpose of the game is to build stuff. I have told you, use drills. Make a lot of them. Spin drills. Dig hole. I don't know how much simpler it needs to get. All right. Yeah, I'm noticing that there's just a lot of stuff to be picking up here. I'm gonna see about maybe. Okay. Actually, no, we should be good now because I'm just going to let camp do its thing. I did notice, though, that some of the...
Inventory full.
Some of these got turned around. And... we need to solve that. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. It's just that they've got two sides to them. And I had noticed that some of them were missing or were the wrong way. That's all. Not a big deal. Let's see. Get this in place. There we go. Now, the only thing left that I'm really working on here is getting that thing welded up, which is the shield generator. Which still, I don't know. I need to check to see how much. I need uranium. Need more gold. I need more gold. Yes. Uranium, definitely. Silicon? No, silicon we're good on. Cobalt we're good on. Platinum I actually have. So it's just uranium and gold. Okay. I'm all like ADD and shit here right now. Like there's so many things that I'm trying to catch up on right now that it's getting kind of frustrating. All right, so first, before I go running off and doing everything else. Oh, Jesus. Just start walking out, all of a sudden, big giant wheeled spider. Well, damn. Let's see. let's replace you for right now with... We'll do the C junction. Nope. Yep. Oh well. Yep, like that. I need the access point. Okay, cool. They are universal. I'm glad that you have a rover I'm glad that you got that rover back. It is fun when you're messing around with a mod, and as you're messing around with that mod, you start realizing, oh crap, I need something, and then you start building that thing, and then that thing that you're building needs something else because it feels empty without it, and then it just becomes this snowball in hell of all of these different projects that you start working on. So yeah, no, I totally get it. Also, tools. Give me that and give me that. Okay, get the... I need to remember that I hit that reactor. We have no uranium on the base. Shit. Okay. Oh, man. All right. I need... That's correct. We need to make a trip to space. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna leave, and then whoosh, right on up there. And away we go. Good stuffs. Yeah. It's a nice feeling when you actually have a decent small ship. Also, that reminds me, I had an idea for another small ship that I wanted to build. I kind of wanted to make something that was... That's platinum. I need uranium. Once I get a little higher up gravity-wise. But I want to make a little ship. Well, a small grid, probably medium-sized ship. That is very similar to the whirlybirds from Fallout that you see in Fallout. But I want it so that the outside is actually where people sit down on it using benches, and use it as sort of like a engineer transport where you can move like a whole bunch of engineers at once and get, you know, a whole bunch of guys moved from one location to another, where you don't necessarily need to have a bunch of ships doing all that. I want... Which one's going to be closer? Urine 2 or Urine 1? Urine 1. GPS, turn that one off. But it was just this idea that I was having. Primarily, it also came down to thinking about the way that the Thopters look in the Dune game. but also a combination of that and Fallout. And I have made something similar in the past. When Kintar and I were playing, doing like a co-op version, co-op map on the game. Awesome. By the way, Tommy, my man, my buddy, my pal, you don't need that many thrusters on your ship. I was looking at it and I was realizing you have a tremendous amount of the hydrazine thrusters on your ship. You don't need that much. And if you do have that much, you need to start throwing on a whole bunch of large cargo containers. Because you have way more thrust to weight ratio than you think you do. But yeah, that's my critique of it. Oh, no. I'm not saying it is a bad thing. I'm not saying that, like, let's put it this way. It's like if you have in Kerbal Space Program just the launch vehicle surrounded by like 400 of the largest solid rocket boosters that you can get, and all sandwiched on there. And it's like, that's great, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with more thrust, but make that thrust usable. Oh man. The problem is, even though those thrusters are incredibly efficient, there is a point where even they will start just guzzling your hydrogen. So at that point, you gotta figure out what that balance is. I think part of the problem is that comparatively, most people are used to regular hydrogen engines. And those do require that you have a lot more thrusters than you think you should have. With hydrazine thrusters, on the other hand, they are, I think, 4 times more powerful. And so you don't need as many to get the same job done. Okay, also, GPS, gold, and gold 2. Oh, good. Both of those are actually, well, one of those is nearby. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is we're going to grab a whole bunch of uranium, and then I'm going to grab a whole bunch of gold. We're going to head back and then get to work. One of the things that I want to do is add some hydrogen tanks to the base, as right now we have no local hydrogen storage aside from the ships. Oh yeah, they're great. They're especially amazing for small ships, primarily because of the fact that they are just a single block in size and they have multiple armor variants. It makes it much easier to build ships that have better thruster integration into the design of the ship. That's one of the things that I like about them the most. That's one of the things that I kind of wish Keen would wind up adding, are inline variants of their small thrusters. And specifically hydrogen, but the atmospheric ones could use it as well. I think their flat atmospheric thrusters were a really good attempt at that, and they do a good job of allowing you to build atmospheric thrusters in line with the vessel. The ion thrusters, the warfare ones, actually look really good too. And so they do a good job of blending into your builds a little bit better, or allowing you to build around them in a much nicer manner. All right, let's not forget to slow down. right, here we are. Pick up some uranium. Ah, eyeballs. I would go 6 and work your way up from there. Especially if you're doing large cargo containers. Okay. The only problem with uranium is the fact that... Oh. I just realized. Yes. I'm still watching. So, because of the fact... I know, right? Because of the fact that the music for the game has been so wild. Dude, with that much thrust, Tommy, use the large cargo containers. I don't think you realize how powerful those thrusters actually are. Like, the modular cargo containers are nice, but you can absolutely get way more out of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, well, damn. That is a fairly powerful ship now. And I pretty much use them in every save that I'd play now, just because. And now, you are lifting Pertum with full cargo. Yeah. Now at this point, it's like, you know what? Do we even lift, bro? And how we doing here on uranium? Okay. So I definitely want to get a whole bunch of this. And I just realized I should have also brought the secondary ship with me, although it's not really finished yet. So it's one of those that I'll just have to wait. Okay, why is that not ejecting the stone? That's why. Well, no. Oh, because that's... Okay, there we go. Haha! This is true. Fair enough. Of course, I would have to also bring the parts up to do that with, but yes, I will keep that in mind. And also, as a heads up, just to let you guys know, most likely I will be doing Dune tomorrow on the stream. Gotcha. But the reason why is because tonight into tomorrow, the Deep Desert will be doing its Coriolis Storm, which basically wipes everything in the Deep Desert out. And it's a fresh start. And so what Kintar and I are going to be doing, and I'm not sure if Landry's going to be joining us. She's been kind of off doing her own thing, plus with, you know, like work and whatnot. So what Kintar and I are going to wind up doing is we're going to go out to the Deep Desert and build our wow. God, I can't talk lately. I think I have a tumor. Um, we're going to go out, build a base in the deep desert, probably in the PvE area, that we can use to have an easily accessible location for launching missions or sorties out into the deeper desert for collecting the resources that we need, bringing them back with our smaller thopters, the scout thopters. And then once we have collected enough stuff, bringing in the assault thopter, which can carry more, and using that to actually transport stuff from the deep desert back to home base. That way we're not putting the slower, bigger, heavier, less easily defended thopter in harm's way right now when we can't defend against it. At least if we lose one of the smaller thopters, it's not such a huge loss. I don't know. And the only reason why I say I don't know, Lenovo, is primarily because of the fact that with this past few weeks of doing multiplayer Space Engineers, it's kind of worn my old ass out. I'm not used to being this dedicated multiplayer with Space Engineers. So I don't know at the moment. And honestly, it doesn't take much to be more powerful than the official servers. Honestly, it doesn't take much to be more powerful than most servers. And man, so over the weekend, I was playing around with some of the apps that are on my computer because I had to do some repairing and reinstalling, specifically of my audio apps for Razer, the headphones that I use, as well as the Corsair software for my keyboard and mouse. And so I was playing around with my keyboard software and remembered that I can utilize... it's Windows. I've had issues. Every time I restart or every time I reboot my computer, I have to unplug and re-plug in the USB dongle for my headphones because it won't hear the microphone. I don't get why. In fact, it's now getting so bad that I actually have to switch which USB port I'm using each time. Otherwise, it won't notice it. But anyway, I was messing around with the software for my keyboard and was like, you know what? I'm going to try some videos. So I went and I found some of the videos on my machine, random ones, and found some of the ones that are lower in file size, which I've noticed it sounds like a beast. Good Lord. That's not a server for Space Engineers. That's the actual main computer for the Space Engineers ship. But what I found for my keyboard and for the videos that it plays on the LED lights is that lower resolution movies actually tend to work better. And then the nice thing is that you can bump up the saturation on the video itself, and what will wind up happening is that you get more colorful, slightly pixelated LED lights that move a whole lot, and it's really nice. I actually quite like the effect. Hey, there goes my gold. And get the lights on. Or did I already have them on? Nope. All right. right, chew up some of this sweet, sweet gold. What I might see about doing is kind of overfilling a little bit and filling up the drills as well.
Hostile contact confirmed.
Ah, shit. I might not get the chance. We're going to have to play this quick. Yep. Okay. Time to get out of here. Not today, buddies. Not today. I would have liked to have gotten more, but... we're not going to play that game. Yeah. And that is one of those things, you get so used to using the vanilla stuff after a while that you're like, wait a minute, this mod will let me do more with less? What? Yeah, well, and you know, so I decided to start a single player game just to mess around with, and I specifically started it Vanilla Planets. Hey, what's up, Brath? Vanilla Planets NPC provider is the only thing that was added to it as far as NPCs go, plus various other mods. And right off the bat, it is working the way that it's supposed to. So I definitely messed up when I added the exploration enhancement mod for the server. Now, it could also be the fact that going from single player and uploading that to a server kind of messed things up a little bit too. I don't know. What I do know, however, is that this definitely needed a little bit more action and oomph. Nice. Yeah, I don't spend much time out in space. I spend most of my time on planets. I just like planets more. One of those weird things, I guess. No, that's true. Space seems to be a lot more volatile. I don't know if it's because of the modded planets or not. Although it really shouldn't matter. Oh God, yes. Yeah, apparently they're doing Spaceballs too. What are you doing, Sunlight? Supposed to have a rainy 4 days. This was like day 2. We're supposed to get more rain later. Okay, cool. I remember that was Spaceballs was actually one of the few movies that I got to see at a drive-in theater. The other one was E.T. Well, you also, are those current containers full? Because that's the other thing you have to consider. Oh, man, we ain't found shit. You know, for years, I didn't know that was Tim Russ. I didn't know that was the actor who played Tuvok on Voyager. Okay, gotcha, Tommy. The other thing was that Tim Russ has played other characters on Star Trek. There was an episode in Star Trek The Next Generation where the Enterprise was in was docked at a station so that it could get decontaminated. You know, it's like yearly decontamination kind of thing. And while it was being decontaminated, it was also being robbed by this small little heist crew. And Picard had gone back to go get his saddle, since his quarters were well ahead of where the laser pass was going. And he wound up having to fight these guys, and Tim Russ was one of them. Hey, Chaos Cheese Lord, how you doing? Yeah, honestly, Spaceballs is just one of those all-time classics. Glad to hear it, Cheese Lord. The Lord of Cheese and Dairy. He is known as a good and just Lord. Building a massive ship is like building a small one, but bigger. There are lots of different ways that you can build a massive ship. If you're talking about getting it actually built, there are several different, I know, right? There are several different ways of getting it constructed. Sometimes, like if you're doing it purely vanilla or you're stuck in on a console, you're probably going to have to set up some sort of array of welders to weld up everything as you go, as well as some sort of small maneuverable welding ship. On the other hand, if you're on Steam, you have several different mods to choose from, and they are all equally compatible and useful and amazing, and most likely you will learn how to use them rather quickly. Oh, yeah, you're screwed. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. But yeah, for a massive ship, why are those on again? Those are supposed to be off. But yeah, in that particular case, what you're going to want to look at are, I know you didn't touch them. I'm just surprised that they got turned back on again. That is an interesting behavior. But what you'll want to do is go ahead and look at creating a welding ship. And if you're on a planet, you're looking at using most likely atmospheric thrusters. That'll be just a lot easier. You won't have to worry about anything except batteries and storage capacity. If you're in space, you could use ion thrusters, but sometimes it's a little bit better if you use hydrogen, just because hydrogen is a little more powerful. But other than that, what other sort of building a large ship advice are you looking for? A little bit off. Just advice. Well, so that's one of those things that giving advice on shipbuilding is actually kind of difficult. The reason why it's difficult has a lot to do with what you are looking to do with the ship, your current experience level with building ships, and what tools you have available to build said ship. It's very easy to build a ship. Just build a ship. It doesn't have to be a good ship, doesn't have to be a beautiful ship. It's just a ship. It's very easy to do that. When you start looking at complicating it, I guess technically survival is hard. Like that's what I had to stop myself for a second because I have been playing survival for so long that the idea of it being hard is like, what? Really? When did that happen? I don't remember survival being difficult. But again, you know, after so many hundreds of hours, your perspective on things changes. What it comes down to when you're building a ship, any ship, is the first thing that you need to kind of figure out is, what is the purpose of this ship? What am I doing with it? Because you can build all sorts of giant ships. And they can be amazing, and they can be huge, and they can have every block imaginable. Okay, so that makes it a little bit different. The things that you need to have for your warship. If this is a warship that you are... I know, right? If this is a warship that is specifically just going to be pure war, things you're going to need: fuel, power generation, weapons, armor. And those are your big ones right there. Now, in some cases, you may also want to add one refinery at least and a couple of assemblers. The reason being is so that way, if you come across asteroids and you have like a little mining ship on your warship, really beneficial. You can go ahead and collect resources, bring them back, and then use those resources to create more ammo. Because that's going to be the other big thing, is how do you restock your ammunition? Also, I need to turn those back off. I think that's a bug. Hopefully that gets fixed. Control panel. Camp right. Camp left. Yeah, that is so weird. In fact, all of their settings got reset. What the hell? Yeah. Oh, now that's interesting. I might have to do a reboot on the server at some point to see about updating it. Let me check real quick. Yep, when was the last update? June 16th at 12:37 a.m. So that happened, okay. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that honestly, it threw me for a loop this weekend. So ordinarily on the server, we've been running at about a 70 to 80% of the available RAM utilized. And that's like 5.5 to 6 gigabytes of the 8 gig of the RAM. Well, all of a sudden, the RAM utilization went from that down to 20%. But the server was still running and people were still playing on it. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? That feels a little weird. So I'm guessing what happened was that camp updated. I'm not mad. I'm actually impressed. All right, we're going to clean up this crap here and get rid of you. And there we go. And the reason why we're cleaning that up is because I need to add... Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to check on. The hell is this? Space Engineers has some weird music sometimes. Okay, there we go. That one's a difficult one to really sort of 100% define. There are lots of different methods to starting your ship. What some people will do is that they will actually go ahead and build out the hull and the shape of the ship, and they'll do it as a solid thing. In creative, it's much easier to do. Yeah, as Tommy said, he wings it. But what you can sometimes do, like on a small grid ship, I'll oftentimes start with the control seat, whatever that is, whether it's the cockpit, whether it's just the seat itself, whatever the control is going to wind up being, and then I start building kind of out from there, unless I have an idea of the actual shape of the ship. In which case, I'll start shaping out the ship first in armor, and then starting to add components. So whatever you feel is going to work best for you on your first version of it. And what I would recommend is to actually build it a little bit smaller than you're thinking at first, to kind of get an idea of how you want to actually build it. So instead of building, 400 blocks long, 200 blocks wide, and going from there, scale it down first, kind of get an idea of the feel of the ship, and then go back through and make it a little bit bigger. Because oftentimes what you'll find is that you really don't need to make your ship as big as you think you do, or as big as you want to think that you need to, if that makes sense. All right. I need to do a couple of things here. The first thing that I need to do, which is sad, but you guys need to go away. You're gonna get moved, but you need to go away. And then let's get rid of these. All right. They've been a lot more permanent than anything else on this base for a long while. All right, the next thing I want to do is define how... There we go. Let's see, we'll go with that size for now. I may wind up having to bring puncture out here so that I can clean up some of this. Oh. Okay. All right, so what I'm thinking, and I'm not sure I'm going to do this, but I'm thinking what I could conceivably do is take this entire conveyor line and push it down one more block so that it's in line with the floor. The reason why I want to do this, God, I'm rolling my R's like so bad today. But the reason I want to do that is because what I could conceivably do is actually carve out a section of this that would become an elevator for small rovers. And then I could go ahead and have that lift up, or at least for flat rovers. I could even make it a little bit, take out a little bit more of this wall. So slightly taller ones would be able to get on there, lift up, and lock in place. I am no stranger to doing elevators, as I did several on... Actually, I did the really big one on the tunnel base, which I then used a connector so that I could lock it in and keep it from moving after the fact, which, thank God for that. God, that one was so scary to work on. Oh yeah, your lights are on. Okay. Let's come in here and we'll drill. Drill out some of this. Kind of clean this up a little bit. And then I should probably also come up, calm down. Come up to the wall. There we go. Now the reason being for that, I can actually work on the bottom portion of the wall and kind of bring it all together. Okay. So now you're actually bringing home a lot more stuff in that thing instead of just the modular cargo containers, because you have so much extra thrust. Oops. Okay. And then I think I want to get a little bit of this. Awesome. Excellent. All right. Let's just bring this around here. Turn those off. What are you still missing? Probably lots of things. I should build a tunnel that it gets me down there too. Yeah, I would imagine so. I imagine you now basically have this giant cigar of a ship. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to clean this out. And I want... Oh, I'm going to have to get rid of this too. Okay. It's all right. I'm going to be cleaning all this up at some point anyway and redoing it. Really, this was just here because of the giant craters from when we've been attacked previously. So I just got to make sure that I cover this back up. But I want to do so with different blocks. and figure out where we're going to put first the hydrogen tanks. And I'm probably going to use the industrial hydrogen tanks on this one. Like the Space Engineers version of... Oh, damn it. Not what I wanted. Of George Burns. All right, there we go. Okay, we're good. All right. So let's grab... Let's grab this. And kind of lower this terrain a little bit. One nice thing about having a good rock solid drill ship is how useful it is in a lot of circumstances. If you have to build one ship for survival above all others, make sure you get good at building a basic, everyday, run-of-the-mill mining ship. Hey, what's up, Icy? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, buddy? Actually, no, I probably have seen you recently. I think last week even. Still, not nearly as much as usual. Probably not a bad idea. Seawiz is actually a pretty good weapons platform. All right, so I want... Doot. Yeah, that should be good. No. Really? Has it been that long? Wow. There we go. Get these cleaned up. Yeah, kind of figured as much. Sometimes some things just don't want to go away. And there we go. Oh God, speaking of things that won't go away. Hey Landry, how you doing? Right. For the uninformed, Landry is my sister. That's why I pick on her. You really did. And that is fair. Oh yeah, that's right. You're not at work yet. I was like, wait a minute. What is she doing in chat? Fucking weirdo. There we go. Okay. I think I might need to drill out some more of this mountain, actually. I'm sorry, there aren't any normal people who watch my stream. I know this for a fact. because they're watching my stream. If you are here, you are not normal. I'm sorry to be the bearer of regular news. That is just a verifiable fact. See? Tommy even knows that he's crazy. Normal is weird. Yeah, bullshit, Wrath. Bullshit. I'd say you're the weirdest one out of all of us, but it's really hard to put any sort of quantifiable number or designation on the level of weirdness. I suppose one could argue the correctness of that statement, Icy. You know, weirdness is in the eye of the beholder, and everybody else has eyes for this. Let's get this over here. Yeah, that could work. There you go. See, you are certified. I knew it. Man, it's kind of sad, but kind of not. But for a while, I've had Star Citizen installed. And last night, I uninstalled it because A, I haven't been playing it, like, at all. And B, I just needed the space. And right now, Star Citizen is just not doing anything. Which is kind of sad, especially because right now, Dune is taking up so much of my thoughts and time. Which I had so much high hopes for Star Citizen. Like a couple of years ago, I was having way more fun with it than I do or am these days. I don't know what it is specifically. Oh, that's right. It actually worked better. Oddly enough. There we go. We'll just kind of get this flattened out. Bring as much of the terrain down to a specific level as possible. I want to make sure it's kind of beneath where the blocks are going to go. That really does wind up helping with the aesthetics of things. And then kind of get this pulled down. Yes, there we go. Ooh, what? Why am I missing a block? Why were you missing? That makes me a little nervous, because that was the same sort of thing that was happening with the build and repair system, is that blocks would randomly go missing. Oh well. Let's get back to work. So what I'm looking at here is that I need to build out there we go. I want... No. Hydrogen. Boop. It seems like it. Little bastard gets around. Let's put... Is that what it is? Yeah. Well, eventually, I will hope to have an actual shield around this damn base. Nowhere. We're not doing kabooms today, hopefully. I need... Okay, what's still missing? Hey, what's up, old grumpy? No kabooms. At least not at the moment. Okay, we have a oh wow. I need a lot more platinum and a lot more gold. Yeah, especially considering I have no gold left. Cool. Let's see. Let's put in this for right now. So that way I know which one to get rid of when I need to check it. Let's add that there. I need... Where's that at? That is 2 out from that side. I need... Alright, so essentially what you guys are telling me is that you want me to blow something up. Otherwise, you are not entertained enough. That's what I'm hearing, is you need your explosions. Alright. Let me see. Oh yeah, no, I know you guys. I know. I know what you guys like, is you like watching me blow myself up or watch me blowing my stuff up. All right, fine. Let's do it this... Oh, and those are the wrong colors anyway. Warhead. I need 6 explosives. Production. That's the wrong one anyway. 3, 4, 5, 6. Silverado got kind of repurposed. Hey, what's up, Neo? PP. Okay. Arm warhead start countdown. All right, let's back up. There you guys go. Explosion. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. You guys, you don't get to choose how and what explodes. If you tell me something needs to blow up, I blow up something. Usually it's something that's beneficial to me. That's just the way of it. If you guys demand explosions, this is what you get. The pecker's still inside. I wasn't expecting the secondary one either. All right, so we'll just leave the giant crater here, and most of, well, no, I need to put that back at least. That and that. And I need the straights. Yeah, new garage. EP bomber. All right. I guess I don't know what we're going to bomb, but we might as well. That's what the people want. All right, that should be reconnected at least. And fuck that. What I'm going to do is actually... rename puncture mark 2. All right, so I want you, for those of you who don't realize, this is on the server. I can't just roll this back. So if you are asking me to go ahead and blow it all up, I will. Just know that that's that. Like, I don't get to roll this back to a previous save. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Landry. Much appreciated. All right, this... Honestly, it feels like... Okay. No, say Mike, I've had to upgrade... Well, okay. Quick, long story short. Upgraded to Windows 11, had to redo all of my microphone settings. Now everything is a little bit different. I do a lot of hard work on a lot of the stuff that I do, Wrath. It still winds up getting blown up. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I tend to get a lot of people who like watching me blow my own stuff up. Even if they don't realize it, they still wind up asking me to do it. Because everybody's like, I want to watch you blow something up. So the thing that I have nearest to me that will give them the instant gratification that most of them are looking for just so happens to be the projects that I've been working on. And so I give them what they're looking for. I give them the satisfaction of watching something blow up. Most people don't realize that that's what I do. They don't know it until it happens. Okay, again, I'm on a server. I'm not in single player. I can't just do that, because then I have to set up an entirely new game just so that I can make you guys happy. I need... Let's do this. Out of the way. No, I enjoy the building as well, Wrath. Like, that's my favorite thing to do, is to build. But, unfortunately, sometimes it happens that what I want to do and what people want to watch are two very different things. Oh, that worked out. Almost have this. Nope. That one. There we go. I think at the end of the day, what people really just enjoy doing is seeing the explosions in the game. It's not that it pisses me off. If anything, I've just kind of grown used to the fact that generally most people, a lot of people that come to watch the stream, and specifically the Space Engineer stuff, just enjoy watching me blow something up. They come in here explicitly and specifically to try and get me to destroy something. Either go out, blow stuff up, or just create something that's going to explode, or make something flashy, or just anything that is going to be violence related. I know I never said you specifically, I said most people. And yes, I do get a little annoyed at it, but I'm not pissed. Trust me, if I was pissed, you guys would know. There is very little these days that actually truly pisses me off. There's been a couple of particular games that have gotten real close, but generally speaking, it's more of an annoyance than it is genuinely pissed off. Oh, damn it, wrong stuff. You absolutely can. Yeah. Call of Duty for Tommy. That's the thing, yeah, his keyboard has suffered because of it. And technically, yes, you can vaporize an asteroid with a warhead. Okay. Let's see. Oh, shit. Wow, that really took out a lot. I didn't realize just how much it actually removed. Yeah, something like that. I need... That, yes, that is correct. Okay. No. There we go. All right. That takes care of that. At least it didn't take out anything inside of the base. Like any of the poor bastards in cryo. Come back and be like, where's that side of the base? Well, you see what happened was... oh. You and you. Yeah, there you go. Concussive brain damage. I don't technically need another air hanger, but if I do, I will keep that in mind. Okay, and we can get these blocks put back. Any editing software will do it, as long as you can, like, if, okay, let's rewind this question a little bit. Are you looking to remove all of the audio or just remove music? Because that is two completely separate things. And okay, everything else is good. What was it? Shift P. Awesome. Get this done back up again. There we go. Okay, that you're kind of SOL on, unfortunately. It is very difficult to find free software that will do that effectively. I don't know of any. What I usually use for video editing is DaVinci Resolve. Other than that, though, if you're using OBS to do streaming, you can actually go ahead and set it up so that you actually have two audio tracks, one for the game and your voice and another for music. So that way on stream, people will hear the music. You'll hear the music. But on the VOD will not have the music. Other than that, though, I don't know of how you can edit the music out from a video without ruining the audio quality of that video. I'm sure there's AI that'll do it and everything like that, but I specifically don't know how to accomplish that in any efficient or meaningful manner, unfortunately. Okay, let's try building this again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not quite. I honestly, I don't know. I don't have an easy answer for you. It's just one of those things that retroactively making edits like that becomes a lot harder if the original video is not set up right. As oftentimes what we wind up doing when we are recording is all of the audio gets mixed down into a single channel. And then even if that audio has stereo and whatnot, it's still stereo with everything that's attached to it. All right, Tommy. Have a good one, buddy. And you actually are in the wrong spots. I want to bring... Oh, damn. I didn't realize that it had also taken this out, too. Wow. That was a hell of an explosion. Yeah. Again, like I said, I don't have an easy answer for you. And the free solutions and the free options may not be of optimum quality for what you would want to use for uploading. That's, honestly, that's one of the biggest problems that I have had with the whole music and copyright and all of that. First of all, it's the dumbest shit the music industry has ever done. I swear to God, the music industry does everything in its power to make things harder on itself. Back when I was watching Twitch streamers a little more frequently than I do these days, and they were still allowed to use copyrighted music, I've came across and found more interesting artists that way than I ever did previously. Because of people being able to listen to copyrighted music on Twitch, and to a certain extent, doing reactions on YouTube, I came across so many great bands and artists that I never had previously or since. But because the music industry has a stick up its ass about anybody using its stuff outside of them, it then caused me to not be able to learn about, engage with, or otherwise enjoy these bands that I wouldn't have otherwise, which is incredibly frustrating. Exactly. It is it's essentially free advertising. But I think that's part of the problem, is that part of the music industry is the advertisement agency that is part of it. And so if you remove the availability or the ability for the advertising agency to make money off of that part of it, they get pissy too. So it's one of those, the wrong people are making the decisions for the wrong reasons. All right. That gets us started. That's why sometimes I've played my own music that I created, even though it's like not the best or anything. It's still Nobody's going to copyright claim it, and if they do, I'll be like, no, that's mine. That's a good way to do it, too. Oh, whoops. Didn't realize I still had the thrusters on. All right, let's go pick up some ice. And then I also need to reattach. Actually, since I've got uranium, we're good there. I've got a little bit of extra power, but I still want to go ahead and reattach the wind turbines because they have been a large source of power for a long time now. Let's back up just a little bit. Okay. There we go. And up, up, and away. Yeah, that's true. Not everybody likes metal, which is a shame because metal is amazing. Although, not all metal. I think there's certain subgenres of metal that are a little less amazing than others. Yeah, good old EDM. Love some EDM. Just general straight techno, as we used to call it back in the day. God, I miss getting high and making music. Yeah, like I said, there's just certain types of metal. Nice. Most of what I know about making music was pretty much just doing sample arrangement. I didn't do anything like creating my own samples at the time. That was always something I wanted to get into, but I never quite got the hang of it. Let's see. Okay, you guys should be slowly filling up. Awesome. That is fantastic. So, now that I've got this big gaping hole here, and a lot of extra free space, it looks like the projects that I've wanted to do are going to be on the back burner, and we're going to be looking at different projects now. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Pool party. Well, all right. So essentially what I need to do is Mortibus wants me to build a Silverado with trailer, which kind of I've repurposed that idea. Also, I need to build a fighter, a PP bomber, and a PP bomber frigate, a frigate that drops bombs. So basically, it looks like the amalgamation of things is that I need to build a giant frigate for bombing bases that currently don't exist. Yes. I am to build a Chevy Silverado for hauling around a mining ship. This is essentially how that goes. Not sure how that's going to work. But I am going to take a quick AFK. And then we're going to see... Actually, no, before I do that... I need steel. Give me some of that, some of that. Awesome. And I want some turbines. I need... Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell just blew up? And then I realized, oh, that was just one of the unknown signals that I didn't get to. Column. Seven, 8, 9, 10. The reason why that matters is so that I can do a second one over here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put you here. Two, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you are just going to go ahead and weld that bitch up, aren't you? Had a pretty good roll going, too. And 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that how many? Yes. Then we get this going. Let's see, I should be able to get these like that. And perfect. All right, I will be right back now that we've got that going. I feel a little bit better about it. Actually, I think everybody did die. Anyway, be back in just a second. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Now, I need to, first of all, I need to check to make sure all the batteries are good. And, oh yeah, they're fine. Hardly worth thinking about. When I get the shield up and running, that might be a different story, but for now, they should be good. And you know, I think, what time is it? You know what? We're gonna go ahead and move from this after I drop off all my tools. I have gotten in the habit of making sure that I leave my tools behind because I oftentimes come back dead. But I'm in the mood for some more Dune, and I've got some stuff to collect in that anyway. So we're going to move over to that for a little bit. And then I also remembered that Grand Theft Auto Online has a new DLC coming out tomorrow. Not that I plan on streaming that, it's just of note. All right, let's get Dune going. Kintar and I have been mentioning and talking about this, that Dune is actually more successful than it probably should be. And that is an odd thing to say for a game. But the reason why I think that's the case is because one of the things that they've been dealing with and suffering under are almost constant lag issues or latency issues. Aluminum. Dune Awakening. And a lot of that just stems from the fact that there are so many people playing that it puts a huge strain on all of the servers. There we go. No, I said Dune Awakening. Thank you.
I dream of it.
Good for you. And so especially like from about peak time, well, just before peak time, all the way up until after peak time, for a little while after that, you will get major lag spikes. Major lag spikes. It is brutal. Hmm. Mm. Mm. That's good stuff. However, I've noticed, and especially yesterday, that they were actually doing quite a bit of rebooting or restarting of servers. So I think they're trying to combat the issue. And hopefully they are getting to a point where they're starting to try and fix it. And, oh, sweet. All right. But the big thing that I need today, where was that at? Oh, shit. How badly do I want to go out there? The question is, I don't really want to. I should, but I don't really want to. As spice is one of the other things that we need in some quantities. Okay, and of course this went through all the spice sand. Max is 31, max of 33. Okay. Let us, what do I have on me right now? Okay. Excuse me. The big thing is right now, good Lord. My microphone gets so damn sensitive sometimes. It didn't used to be, which is annoying. I used to have it set up perfectly, or near perfectly. Okay, that's just flour sand. Let's go ahead and head on out. We're going to go grab up some aluminum because we need it. Need a lot of it. One of the things that Kintar and I did at some point recently is that I went out there and started mining. Actually, we both went out there and were mining aluminum. He was mining, I was driving. And then he left with his thopter to go grab our salt thopter and then used it to pick up a bunch from me out of the buggy and then flew that back so we could go ahead and fill up the buggy some more. And it works out surprisingly well. Wee! Oh, wow. There's no audio for this game coming through. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I know why. Settings. Instead of just getting set to a default audio device, there we go. Haha, now there's audio. I was like, wait a minute, why is that not making any noise? Now it is. Quit shooting at me, you sons of bitches. And oh, also let us grab some extra water. There we go. Okay. And one of the other things that I wanted to do was... Haha, you needed to be repaired. Oh, come on. Repair, you bastard. There we go. Excellent. Okay. Awesome. We're going to wait for the worm to go past, because the last thing I want to do is run afoul of a giant thing that can just swallow me whole. Meatballs good. I also went ahead and I took a little bit of mayo, as well as something crashed, I think, like a ship crashed. No, but I took some mayo and I took some of this Japanese barbecue sauce that we got. That was really good. Mixed the two up into a slurry, a sauce, and then threw that on the meatballs, and it's so delicious. Oh, Jesus. That is not what you want to see when you're coming over the hill. That's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Nope, not today. Not today. Nope. Okay, and basically what I'm trying to do here is just grab up some extra water. There we go. That helps fill up my deciliter Johns. Make sure I've got plenty of extra water. just thinking of that typical, that really stereotypical joke that oftentimes Americans make about Brits. Yeah, exactly, more water. But when we're always making fun of the British accent, we're always like, "Could you get me a bottle of water?" And it would be funny if somebody did that in Dune, and instead you walk up to them and go, "Are you a bottle of water?" Just see the reaction to that one. Although, honestly, that would be just hilarious in general. All right. I know. Ah, there we go. And we get to start collecting aluminium. 2 bottles of water. There you go. Amen to that. Grab some more here. There we go. And actually, how is... we're almost full on one of our deciliter Johns. So that's good. And then, so tomorrow when we play, it should hopefully be after the Coriolis storm comes through and wipes the sort of deep desert clean. And so what I would like to do initially is bring out some stuff in the assault thopter. Construction materials primarily. No, can I get that? I can. Awesome. And specifically, what I would like to do is build out of the plastone that we use for the base currently. Because that, I think, would be a really baller move. Like, look how much of this that we have, we can just waste it on this base. But also just the fact that I want to build a mostly sort of self-contained block of a base that'll be easy to project and build, as well as something that will be functional and, you know, easily printable. I think that's the biggest thing. Basically, I want to treat it like putting together a blueprint for a space engineer's base is kind of how I'm wanting to think about it. Although there have been some absolutely amazing bases that are getting built. Some of the ones that I've seen get posted up are just absolute works of art. I thought mine was pretty good looking, but it's nothing compared to some of the others. That's one of those that it makes me want to tear everything down and restart again. The other part of the problem is the placement of our sort of land claims are such that we don't go all the way down to the ground level that I would like to. And in order to fix that, I would basically have to delete the land claim itself, which gets rid of all of our additional ones. Rebuild all of the stakes and place them down as well. And hope that I got everything right so that it gets all of the base again. But I don't know if that would be the case and if that would work. So it's one of those that I am hesitant to do it. Now, the other possibility is that Kintar had built a base up this direction. He's not happy with it. He's not really wanting to deal with it because one base is hassle enough. Two bases, huge pain in the ass. And so he's, you know, just thinking about letting it rot. Personally, I am thinking that we could potentially use it for resources to build a base, a different base up here that I wouldn't mind making more of an actual, like, permanent base in a way. Because the only thing that we really need that our current location gives us a huge benefit of getting is jasmium out of Sheol. And to show you Sheol, it is this section all...
Weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh, Shazbot. How far away is... Oh, it's right down here. Okay. Come on, girl. Time to haul ass. It is right down here. I'm hopeful I can make it there. Come on, girl, get up this hill. Yes! Oh my god, that was awesome! Holy shit! Did not expect to make that like that. Wow. I will take that. That was awesome. First try, nothing but net.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
I might just have to see about clipping that. That was beautiful. Alrighty. That is a lot of water. Oh, and the sandstorm is done already. Okay. You know, I'm kind of glad that base is still there. First of all, really super close to good aluminum stockpile. But also, great getaway for storms. Oh, also, let's refuel. And we'll come up this way. Also, nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Oh. And back to it. Like a little bit later, I may see about traveling out to the deep desert. So the reason why the deep desert is so sought after is that it really does have a lot of the resources that you need for endgame, but it has them in odd quantities. So for instance, I'm gonna have to go kill those dudes. Sounds like somebody's already over there.
Help me!
And nope, you're dead. But a couple of the items that we're after specifically, aside from spice, because you can get spice in fairly large quantities there. But aside from spice, the other thing that is out there is titanium and stravidium, I believe is the name of it. Yeah, sure, we'll take that. Which both come together to make plastium. Plastanium, that's what it is. Which is the material that you need for all the endgame stuff. You need it for making spice harvesters. You need it for making the carrier for the spice harvester. Nice, thank you. And just in general, you need a lot of it. You need it for a lot of the end game stuff as well, in terms of machines and refineries and etc. So it's one of those that it is a sought after. What the hell is going on over there? Oh no, you didn't. Jesus.
Death to the Emperor!
Heretic. Haha. Somebody finally died to the poison. Nope. Okay, cool. Oh no, I'm still... There we go. But, yeah, so right now... And what makes it even worse to try and get... is that it's in a PvP zone. So you have to make sure that people that you're running into aren't trying to kill you. Now, fortunately, I've had pretty good luck so far. But that doesn't always mean that the luck will hold. As sometimes luck runs out. Either because you get lazy, you get cocky, or it's just not your day. So, currently, one of the things that I want to do, and also because we need it, is to start stockpiling aluminum and duraluminum, because they're used for the Mark IV and Mark V stuff. The highest tier so far being Mark VI. And then as far as spice goes, which you still need for a lot of stuff anyway, even at Mark V, but a lot of that you can still get decent-ish quantities here in Haga Basin. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. As there are periodic spice blows. And oh, I saw that. I saw that. I saws it. I swears it. There we go. And there goes another one. Awesome. Let's see what we're at so far. Oh, sweet. We haven't quite hit full yet. Still a little ways to go. And awesome. I might grab some fuel cells for that secondary base, considering it saved my ass. It's tempting to go ahead and keep it going. It could be one of those that I go ahead and redesign it as well. Just do a full makeover on it. What I would like to do, and I know we have enough Solaris for me to... Okay, good. Haha. I know we have enough Solaris for me to purchase it, but I would like to get the Harkonnen. Yeah, exactly. Get the Harkonnen building set. As I really like the aesthetic of the Harkonnen construction kit. It's actually really sexy. Which, funnily enough, Kintar and I were talking about this morning too, or last night, I guess. But one of the things we were noticing, because we were both out in the deep desert, and we were watching the global chat, which for a change was actually rather active. But one of the things that we noticed is that in a strange turn of events, although I think Helldivers really could have told you that this was going to happen, people have just naturally worked their way into Harkonnen versus Atreides rivalry, just like Alliance versus Horde. And so because of that, a lot of the PvP that takes place is primarily centered around that particular rivalry, around Atreides trying to kill Harkonnen and vice versa. However, funnily enough, it's the Atreides who are generally more aggressive about it. And the strange thing is that almost actually fits into the lore of Dune. When you look at how the houses would commit warfare, especially during Canley situations, Atreides war masters often did tend to be a little bit more aggressive. You know, like Gurney Halleck. Shit, now I can't remember all their names. Thufir Howard. What the hell was that? Oh God, I can't remember all their names now. There was the swordmaster from Ganaz. Duncan, Idaho. There we go. God, I can't believe I couldn't remember that one. That one's the most normal name out of all of them. Anyway, but all of them had experience dealing with Harkonnens, or Harkonnens, however you want to say it. Yes, inventory is full. Inventory is full. And so because of that, they were infinitely more aggressive about their tactics than I think they normally would be. And so it tracks that in game, even though it is technically an alternate universe, as individuals, those people are still very much conditioned the same way that you would expect the characters to have been, you know, from the books, from the actual timeline. And so they are more aggressive, they are angrier, they are more impressed upon with the need to be as ruthless as possible, compared to the Harkonnens, which tend to be a little more subtle, a little more cunning, and a little bit more strangely flamboyant. And when you consider the factions being good guys and bad guys, the Atreides being the good guys, since they're oftentimes the underdog, one of the things that often happens is that the good guys in this tend to just be more bloodthirsty. And so that's what you wind up seeing in the actual player versus player stuff, is that the Atreides and those players who are aligned with them fall under the idea that it is a righteous infliction that they suffer. Therefore, they must then pass that suffering on to their enemies. And in some cases, their enemies are also their friends, as Atreides players are notorious for also killing each other a whole lot. At least on my server, from what I have seen and from what I've heard. So it is interesting, and it's another interesting note when you think about it. The amount of time, effort, and resources that players are spending to kill each other That is time, effort, and resources that are being wasted when they could be going ahead and just collecting the stuff that they're out to collect. Whether that's spice or titanium or stravidium, what have you. Exactly, building an empire. But they're more focused on the idea of, I have to kill this other person, than the fact that killing that other person is using resources that I then have to go out and replace. Now, granted, it's also fun, so there's that. Honestly, it really does. Okay. Here we go. I love this ramp. That's probably my favorite part of coming back, is making that jump over the dune there. It's just like, whee! And you know, that's the interesting thing about Dune as a book, let alone as a series, is Frank Herbert put a lot of effort into creating real world parallels within the story of Dune. Oh, that was a worm. I hear the worm, but I don't see the worm. I hate that. And that's, you know, Dune as a series and as a story has a tremendous amount of history to it, which is beautiful. And I think that's why so many people get immersed in it. The same reason why so many people love Lord of the Rings, because both authors felt less like they were just writing a book and more like they were relaying a documentary or a retelling of a story that they were told. And it's more historical than it is fictional. You know, Tolkien had a great way of describing his world as a proper living thing. What just... Okay. When Frank Herbert described the Fremen, he described their culture with so much enthusiasm that you felt like it was a real thing. Turn that back off. Oh, out of ammo. Okay. Huh. That explains why I couldn't repair it. Okay. I don't want... Actually, drop that off. Boogie. Wow, that can't hold anything. And okay. Awesome. And then I think later If Kintar is around, we'll see about going out and actually doing some more jasmium collection. We still have a bit. Let's do 100. Oh, now here's a fun little thing that we figured out over the weekend. So you can set up essentially circuits for the movement of materials around your base. So up here, wow, I am peeking so hard. So up here in the top, it's kind of hard to tell with my webcam in the way. I will move that for a moment. So up here on the top, you have your backpack here. On the left, you have your actual, and it's not seeing my cursor at all. That's funny. Oh, there it goes. You have the actual storage container that you're looking at. Up here, you have these two boxes called circuit, and ours are currently set to circuit 2 and circuit 1. The reason for that and the way that it works is that you have on the left side here, that's your input circuit. So that's items coming into whatever the storage is. And on the right side, you have your output circuit. This is items that are getting pulled out of this storage container. So right now I have all of these set up to be an input of circuit 2 and an output of circuit 1. Circuit 1 is the default circuit, and so all of the machines in the base are currently set to that. They're just defaulted to it. If we come downstairs and we look at one of our refineries, I have the circuit set to circuit 1 for input and circuit 2 for output. So it's going to pull items from circuit 1, and then it's going to move items to circuit 2. And I don't know why I'm sitting here gesturing. Nobody can actually see me at the moment. There we go. I'm like making hand gestures. Nobody can see me. So we get stuff from circuit 1, it moves over to, and then it outputs to circuit 2, which is just those containers upstairs. We found, however, that the best way to deal with that is to go ahead and fill up all of the storage in the actual refineries with a random item. In this case, we're using the welding wire because it's cheap and you can make a lot of it. And so what winds up happening is that at that point, because the personal inventory of that machine is full, it'll automatically output it to your container. Super useful. So just a little tip that you can use to make sure that items aren't getting clogged up in the machines, but are actually going to where you want them to go. However, there are certain machines where you can't do that with. The recycler is one of them. The recycler requires that you have, or it has, an empty storage. Otherwise, it won't work. How much plastone can I make? 1. Okay. So I need to get more basalt at some point, which that's not difficult. We can do 15 more. Yeah. So this is the plastinium ingots. Requires the titanium ore and stravidium fiber. And stravidium fiber you get from stravidium masses. And stravidium masses you get from the deep desert. Yeah, stravidium fiber here. So that is, let's do 100. That's going to be 10,000 water. We'll go ahead and get that started. Wow, the Harkonnen are really... No, not too bad. Okay. Let's go check on the death stills to see where at least our advanced one is at. And you've got less than 10 minutes. Awesome. And you have 20 minutes. Also awesome. Cool. All right, I'm going to take a quick AFK again. I'll be right back. Okay. I swear, I go up there for one thing and I've got to take care of like 4 others. Let's see. All right. Oh, yeah. I made this little area because I was specifically on the lookout for spice blows. And what was funny about that is that there happened to be one earlier. It was basically just right out there, just right in that spot. Like if you're looking between the building and the rock there, it was like just straight in that line, which is basically right there. And I was like, sweet, I don't have to go very far. But let's see. Let's go ahead. And I don't want to go to the deep desert just yet. Actually, what I could do is some missions. Yeah, but yours is effective for what you need to do. Honestly, there is no reason why our base needs to be this big. Well, okay, a little bit of a reason. But it doesn't need all of that, honestly. That's just hubris. That's me making it bigger because I can. This is Landry's little base, and honestly, I like it. It is compact, it's adorable. It has a decent security system in that you either have to climb up there or use your Shiga wire. And then once you get in here, it's a nice little setup as well. It's easy to get around. It has everything you need. It's got space. It has plenty of lookout. Like, it's a nice little base. And it's not the typical boxes that you see everybody do. Everybody does boxes. So it's nice that this is a lot more angles and stuff like that. So no, you've got a nice base. I love getting to Mary Poppins across the landscape. I'm gonna need more of that. Oh, that reminds me, I wanted to check to see, because I had gone ahead earlier and refined, wow, some spice. Wanted to check on that as well. And our first body should be done. In a minute. Cool. Sounds like it may have come from the opposite direction. I will say this. One of the things about Dune and why I don't mind it is that honestly it is a game of busy work. There's always something that you should be taking care of at any given point in time, even as a member of a guild. You should be out collecting stuff. You should be refining stuff. You should always be doing something. There we go. Hey, there goes the first body. Let's deposit you in there. Alrighty. That takes care of that. You know what? I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Kind of a short one to start off the week. This weekend, my sleep schedule's been all sorts of wonky anyway. But yeah. Let's see. Tomorrow should be back to Space Engineer. Actually, no. No, tomorrow we're doing Dune. So tomorrow I'll be base building in Dune and working on getting us set up, or at least started getting set up, for our week in the deep desert. Hopefully managing to get some decent resources out of it. We'll see. Other than that, though, that is going to be it for today. As always, thank you all for joining me on these misadventures. So glad to have you guys along for the ride. You all have a wonderful day. Stay out of trouble. And remember, if you get caught, I don't know you. I will catch you guys tomorrow.